All right, welcome back to the show. I mean, yes, a deep conversation there, and then we're gonna continue with that conversation. And like you said, like Ashley, you mentioned many times that you make mistakes, right? We all do. We make mistakes doing things for our kids, and making sure trying to it's that thin line. And I want to discuss this a little bit before we go into more. It's the thin line about friends being your kid's friend and being a parent, right? And we have to learn how to adjust that line where their kids are respecting you with their decisions, right? So if I sign them to this account, I trust that you're not gonna be on there acting a damn fool, you know what I'm saying, and doing what you know is right? So like as parents, is sometimes hard to make that decision, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I don't know.
I would say for like the bigger things, sometimes like with my son, I will sometimes actually just step back and I'll be like, I'm saying this as a female, not your mom. Girls like it if you put on deodorant and not too much cologne type thing. There's those moments where I'm just like, as a girl, I'm going to state this. But with bigger things, it's, definitely, you got to figure out which way you want to be more weighted on.
And Michaela had a question, on break that she, want to elaborate on. What was the question?
Well, you guys did a very good job answering it. Like I had said, I just more wanted to bring awareness to like the whole thing. Like basically y'all all been talking about the fact of like what y'all did, to prevent things from happening to your kids. Now, like, this is what I would like to say based on this. Like, you can do all you can possibly to prevent something from happening to your kids, and it may still happen, and it's not any of the parents' fault at times. Just like how we were talking about in that case, it may not be the parents' fault. It could just be how life just ends up being. It's a scary and dangerous place. I know I've been in a situation where my parents, like I told them on break that my parents were basically very strict parents. They were always heavy on me. Oh, like my dad, I remember my dad was about to give me a whole whooping because I was wearing some shorts that didn't go past my knees, and I just went to go see family. That's how strict my parents are. They don't play about me at all, especially because I'm a young girl growing up in this type of world. But I've been in a situation where I have been, sexually assaulted, a few times, but, it's hard to talk about and get into, but I would say the main thing that, that helps getting through it was having my parents to talk to. I feel like parents, you can do the best you can for your child, but when there is times where you couldn't be there and it is what it is, it's important to just know that your kids to know that you are there for them, because, those were scary situations to be in, having that happen to me and not knowing who to go to or what to talk about. I remember, I didn't want no one touching me at a point in time. People would walk up and, try to reach for me, and I would flinch at them. And, to the point where it's just it became hard to even, talk any type of sexual way towards somebody, or even be in that type of way with anyone, because it's just so uncomfortable for me, because it feels forced because of what has happened to me all those times growing up. But yeah, I would just say I was just bringing that to awareness and basically saying just get closer with your kids and be there for your kids, and pay very close attention when your kids tell you that they're going through something or that they're sad, or just pay attention to their moods, that they're starting to close out and everything. Because I heard some parents would, call their kids drama queens or drama kings, and just, underestimate what a child can possibly actually go through just because they're a child. They think that their only problems is, what food they want to eat today. That's not what what reality is in this world. Children are going through a lot worse things than people really actually realize or bring to light. So yeah.
I think, to add to that, I think that as a parent, like KK just, told you guys that we were strict parents, is just realizing that, some kids learn one or two ways, right? They can learn by you talking to them, or tough love, right? And tough love to me is letting them fall and letting them get back up, you know what I'm saying? And, having them hard conversation with them, letting them know that, you know what I'm saying, like, you can't do this. You can't be out there, like she said, she was, you know, wearing some short shorts, and I pulled up and I seen this. My reaction was that I don't give a damn where you at. And I have a hard time telling, I had a hard time explaining this to my kids at that time, but I told her, you represent me every time you walk out this house. You know what I'm saying? Me being a barber and one, you know, a very known barber from where I'm at, you know, there's a lot of guys that cut their hair, you know what I'm saying? My kids, you know, they went behind our backs and had posts, you know, social media pages that we didn't know about and stuff like that, but don't let me find out. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time that we gave Michaela's sister and my daughter a cell phone. And she came home one day and I went to the phone and seen a boy's name on it. Broke the whole phone up. And she's like, that was for assignments. We needed. I don't give a damn. I said, no boy's phone number in your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a damn that it is for assignments. You know what I'm saying? Like, you disobeyed the rule. There's a consequences to it early on. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that, because if I let you slide at this time, you're going to slide again. You know, they say if you give your kids feet, they take a whole yard. That's a very known thing. We've been doing that since we were youngins. And that's one thing what kids got to understand. When we're talking to you and your parents are talking to you, you understand we've been talked to like this. We've been going through this ourselves. We know this game. You know what I'm saying? So this thing like you think you getting away with, we'd already played this game already. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing you can do that's not new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? We know everything. And we do. We have Jedi mind, mind game, a mind that we can see the future, we can see the past, we can see the now. We see it all because we've been through it so many times.
Especially because, as we were growing up, we didn't have technology. So I actually feel like that hinders some of the generations today of just like, well, in theory, how to get away with stuff through technology. But we had to know how to get away with stuff when there was word of mouth, where it's just like, oh, so-and-so saw so-and-so who, and then pass it through the chain. But you actually said, I know that you've mentioned that you have like a stepson and then you have your daughters and stuff. And I have a daughter as well. And when I was talking earlier, I was saying my son around out with his friends and stuff. But with my daughter, who's 10 right now, it seems like a lot of girls, a lot of people are wanting girls to be more soft and like not fight as much, or, kind of that gentle personality. And I'm almost the opposite with my daughter as a way of having protection for her is, no, if some boy is going to be pushing you around, push him back. Like, show him, don't do that again. Teach him. It's just like, and I'm not going to lie. She's 10 years old. She's gotten in fights at school, but they were justified. And absolutely. It was known from everybody. It was a justified thing. Make it okay? No. But she stood up for herself, and that kid learned not to do it again. So, there's lots of, I think that's something we have to remember is there's lots of different ways to do the best you can to prepare your child for life. And it does, unfortunately, it does, change by gender. Exactly. And appearance. How do you present to the world? So I think that should be remembered just by everyone. I
think you're doing an awesome job with that, because in fact it does differ by gender. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things that parents, Ashley has 2 boys, right? She got no girls, so she's blessed. Oh
my goodness!
In that matter, because like it is hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, because my stepson, right, and I have my stepdaughter as well, and she's no longer living with us. You know what I'm saying? She moved out, and that's some decisions. You know what I'm saying? Some things that the girl can't do that the guy, the guy may get away with a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's also age related as well. You feel me? Because like there's some things that like I told my kids very young, why you did it when you're my age, because I made a dumbass mistake. You know what I'm saying? I made some dumbass, decisions. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to make those same dumbass mistakes, them dumbass decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, but some parents like, well, it was different time back then, and this, no. You made a dumbass mistake. You made some dumbass choices. You know what I'm saying? So like, just be real with your kids. You know what I'm saying? Relate your problems like that you dealt with. Like, you had a child at a young age. Your daughter's about to have a child at a young age. You know what I'm saying? You need to just be real with that person. You feel me? And realize that, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, how much it cost you to raise that child until she was 18 years old or till she was 15 years old. That's the reality of having babies. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to my baby right now. That's the reality of having babies. Kids are having babies because they can, and not taking care of these damn children. You know what I'm saying? The man ain't taking care of the baby. The woman's out here not taking their kids serious and taking care of their babies. This is ludicrous if you think about it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't be me. Be better than me.
Right.
Don't do what I do. Well, do better what I did. You feel me? So go ahead, Ashley.
I want to back up a little bit.
Pissed off in this goddamn place. God damn it.
I want to back up a little bit.
I'm not kidding. Oh, go ahead.
First of all, if I could, I would give you such a big hug right now, Michaela. For real. I think that you're so beautiful and you're so strong. And I love that you're in a place where, you know, you can sit down and talk about that, like a little bit about what you've been through. I think that's so powerful. I think it really speaks to you and your dad's relationship, no matter how strict he was, or, you know, that you're able to recognize that came from a place of love for you and that you feel like you can have these conversations with him. Like, I really hope my kids feel like that. You know what I mean?
It may have took me like a little hot minute to open up about it and everything, but that was because I always looked at my dad like, you're my protector. So if I tell you something, you're possibly going to end somebody else's life. So I'm always like cautious about it. I'm like, do I want them? No, okay, it's not worth it. I need my dad. So I spared a lot of people's lives, like, but that's not the point. The point was just that, you know, like I was just on the phone. It was crazy because I was actually on the phone with my dad and his mother, which is my grandma, of course. But like, and I don't know, I felt like I just want to let it go. Like, I just want to just get it off. I felt like something was just like, you know, when you just have something so built up where you could just feel it like right there in your throat, and you're just like, I just need to just release this. And I finally just did, and it was the best thing that I could possibly do, because just like now my parents, especially my father, he understands me on like another level where, like, you know, because there's a lot of times where, like, because I chose to hide something from my parents, that like they'll be so confused. Like, my dad, like, he'll see me cry and everything, and he'll just be like, what are you upset for? Like, just tell me, like, what are you upset for? Because like, when you don't tell your parents something, they're not gonna know at all what you're like, what's going on. So when you lash out, they're just looking at you so confused, like are you okay? Like, what's going on? And then I finally, like, you know, it took me a minute to have to really open up to my family, but I'm really like happy that, and like, you know,
I'm so proud of you
that I can. That I can, because I love my parents, and they're like, literally, they always talk about how like they're not the best dad or best mom, but like I always tell them, and I'll say it again, that like I literally would never ever go back and have a conversation with God and be like, give me somebody else with either one of them. So, and I hope, and I already know that your kids feel the same about you guys.
And I think actually, you know what I'm saying, coming from a boy's perspective, right? You're talking from a girl's perspective, but a boy is always gonna be mommy's boys. You know what I'm saying? They're always gonna be the ones that, you know what I'm saying, like, they're easy to talk to. Real talk. Because, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you're showing them the sensitive and the love part that a man can't do for them. Right? And I told you this before. No woman, and I mean this, no woman can raise a boy to become a man. You don't know how it takes to be a man. So show him the love, show him the communication part that men lack in, and some women lack in as well, is communicating. Talk to your kids, you know, and you.
Oh, I do.
And the hard time about it, my mom raised 4 girls than me, and she was more harder on me than she was on any of the 4 girls, right? Meaning, I got to be the man of the house. You have a house full of boys there. They need to step their game up. And guess what, Ashley? Now you family. Now they got a big crazy ass uncle in Florida. And if they ain't act right, I'll come and make them act right. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem sending some people over there knocking at your door and getting them right. But at the same point, you have it harder. And I want to let that lay out.
Absolutely.
Because of the situation you're going through right now, right? And you want to spend as much good time and, you know, great energy towards that, but don't lack up. Don't lack up, right? Because you can't afford that, right? Because they need to know. They need to know that you taking care of mom and taking care of your wife once you have one, and make sure you be respectful to women. That's taught by mother, not men.
But we have
take a strong woman.
We have different struggles, right? Raising boys, and you know, like I couldn't imagine having a girl. I really couldn't. You know, that comes with its own its own stuff. But
Fuckery.
like my son had an incident last year where there was a girl in his science class who did not like him, and she falsely reported that my son had like touched her inappropriately, grabbed her, and
Hey, no,
it didn't happen. But she had her little best friend like corroborate the story. Oh, I saw it happen. And if you know my son would never have the guts to just walk up and grab some girl's butt. Like, it wouldn't happen. But it did get him in trouble. And, he ended up having to do this whole, like, sexual assault thing. And, and it was really, like, he was so upset because he's like, I didn't do it. It's not fair. That's, it was a lesson in how women, you can use those. I feel like it's offensive to both men and women, because I feel like it discounts women who actually experience assault, and then also like it really damages these boys and their reputations and their respect towards women. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That they're going to weaponize that and use that. So those are like other really hard situations, like
These
to
are
navigate
crucial.
as a parent.
There's crucial times right now. Your kids being the age they are is to teach these hard situations, hard conversations right now, because this is the world we living in, though, right? Back when I was growing up, girls was yucky. It's like we went. I'm dead ass serious. Like I wasn't into girls until I got to high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I was running around with the boys and go and kick it with my homies and stuff like that. And like I'm serious. Like I don't remember a time when a girl was on any of our minds at the time. You know what I'm saying? Middle school and grade school. You feel me? Like it is now. You got 13-year-old, like this incident with this boy David, 13-year-old girl coming into somebody's Twitch accounts and streaming and talking to him. Like why was your mind? But then you have to look at what's her surroundings like. Maybe that's why her mama ain't out here talking as much as she do, because her mama ain't right? You know what I'm saying? Their household ain't right. Because where do your mind, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jonah, you said your daughter's 10 years old, right?
Yes, yeah.
10 years old. What if Ashley and Jonah are best friends, okay? Just want to put that out there. And if you think about getting a call from Jonah, like, girl, my daughter's out here talking to some boy, you just gonna be like, what? Wait a minute, pause. Why is your daughter online? Right? These are the questions. How do your girl get access to this online account, right? Not like get to gossip up, see she nasty. She just like you, Jonah. No, it's like get to the solution, bro. Like why?
What I would hear from Ashley is, we're getting in the car.
Exactly.
Just
Say
that
less.
blanket statement. And if I were to get a call like that from her for boys or whatever, it would be the same thing.
Say
yep,
less.
I'm getting in the car.
And that's what I mean. Like we just have to have those conversations, though. But it's like, like to reflect on like everything that's going on, in this conversation is that, man, like where's this mom? You know what I'm saying? That's the question that, I would have for her. Is like, where were you? And you heard about this boy David. What did you do more about it? You know what I'm saying? Because like, I don't want to be on the podcast and having a conversation because my daughter's no longer with us because I didn't ask her these tough questions. I didn't put this in her mind that, protect your body, protect your mind, protect your energy at all costs. You know what I'm saying? Because so many vultures out there, so many people out there. We talked about this before when KK expressed like how people are, using social media and job posting to lure girls into like, that's another thing, agenda we haven't talked about is like, trafficking, sex trafficking and stuff like that, man. It's like
I mean, think about it though. This case we're kind of talking about, this David dude and this girl Celeste, like we're hearing about it because he was popular, because he's a celebrity, right? But like, think about like if you really just do a quick Google search, do you know how common this is and how many girls are missing? And like it's a
norm.
Huge problem.
It's the norm of this world right now. That kids come like they even say like, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I used to be really really hard into that. But now I'm a realist. Like I look at real things and factual stuff before I jump to a conspiracy or down that rabbit hole. But listen to this. It says so many kids, that missing kids are linked to not only just child trafficking, but also our food industry. And all, yes, they find human remains in foods, right? Like population, like McDonald's. Like think about it. No, I'm gonna ask you this question. I know
you're about to fuck me up right now.
I'm about to fuck you all the way up. Look here. So they said that McDonald's sells 96 billion burgers worldwide a day. Think about that. Billions. Okay. Where the fuck they getting cows from? That's one day. That's one day. Where the fuck they get his cows from?
Oh yeah, no, it's over.
It's like I don't eat. I swear, when I heard this, I don't eat out food. I don't eat fast food anymore. I'm dead ass serious. With burgers and stuff, I don't eat fast food burgers and shit like that. Because the simple fact is telling me this is like we used to tease, and Jonah, I know it's part of your heritage. We used to tease Asian people all the time, like we eating dog and shit and teriyaki food and shit like that. But why would it be so normalized to say that McDonald's doing the same shit, or Burger King, or other places doing Chick-fil-A? Come on, goddamn it. Chick-fil-A is the best chicken in the fucking world. Where the fuck are these chicken grown at? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. But at the same time, it's just we have to ask, and I think I had this conversation with you actually outside of the podcast about asking why. Like, we don't ask enough of that. We don't ask why. We don't ask why is this happening? Why is this taking place? Why is this young girl?
Well, we've talked about this before too in another context, but like people put blinders up. I think people don't ask why because people aren't prepared for the answers. Because if you have the answers, you might have to do something about it, and that's uncomfortable. People don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, but
so it's easier to just just pretend like it's not happening.
Absolutely.
Like,
let me ask a big why right now. Why is freedom of speech is being addressed right now with people silencing talk show hosts and crazy shit like this? Like, saying, like, why
can I bring something up though?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were saying how, like, I know you brought up the George Floyd thing, your opinion on that, and and even just like maybe telling your kids, like, if you have interactions with the police or with authority, like, it might be wrong what they're doing, but in order to protect your life, and to prevent like these poor outcomes that happen to people that stick up for themselves or challenge authority, we're telling our kids, like, yes, it's wrong. This is the fucked up world we live in, but do whatever you have to do to come home and protect your life, right? These are the lessons that we're teaching our kids. And, I feel like the freedom of speech thing is kind of like that, right? It's like these people that speak up or share their opinion that go against a person of authority or people in positions of power, they're being shut down.
So you think this is a political, reaction to like silencing us all together, period? Like, shut the fuck up. Don't, saying, who are you? And that's exactly, saying,
and
like,
it's a flex. It's the equivalent of them putting their knee in George Floyd's back.
Absolutely. Like, shut the fuck up. And I just, oh my God, I wish I had saved that. It was a these artists, what you call them, poetic artists, you know what I'm saying? They were doing a skit on how our words telling our kids, like, saying, like, be quiet, shut up, talk it, saying, stop talking. And like Simon Said, they put it into a Simon Said skit. Like, Simon Said, shut up. Shut up. And it's, you shut up. Simon Said, say shut up, right? So it's like teaching us how to command Simon. And Simon being the oppressor of like the police department, the presidents, the cabinets, the station officers. Everybody's telling us, stop talking.
Yeah.
Right? And let us do us, right?
I feel like it's, it's always been a prevalent thing, but I feel like it's brought more to attention, and it's easier to be brought to attention and even more noticeable because of, technology, in all honesty, the social media and everything, because sometimes with people, if you don't have to physically speak the words, it's a lot easier to write down and be like, hey, this is what I think and feel on this thing. And then because social media literally connects everybody everywhere at the same time in that moment, then it feeds off of all of that. And I'm not against social media, but
I hope not. We're on a platform in social media. But guess this is why I was thinking like this, right? I think they allow some people to talk And then when they talk too much or they talk about the wrong things, right? We could say with this Kirk guy, right? You see how like he was big on Mega, big on Trump, and you know what I'm saying? Now they're saying them the people that killed him, right? Them the people that silenced him, right?
Yeah.
So you can't talk. It's like, where do we draw the line when it comes to freedom of speech? Like I told my mom this a long time ago, right? And she was like, when I first started talking publicly. I mean, just like here, just like like in churches and other places I used to go and talk prison ministry and stuff like that. And she's like, baby, you gotta be careful, be careful what you say, because the people will come get you. And I told my mom this one thing, and I meant this, and I still mean this to my day, to my life. If they come snatching me out my bed in the middle of the night, y'all motherfuckers right now know that I've been talking the truth. And don't let my truth go unheard. Keep talking the truth. They don't come get you for no dumb shit. They don't get you because you're talking truth and you're speaking truth, right? And I know a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to talk. If you're going to talk about this on the podcast, not saying you guys, but people before in my, some of my co-hosts before, they're like, oh, you going to start talking about this? I don't want to be part of it because I'm, they'll shut you, do this. I don't give a damn. You see what I'm saying? My mom told me this one thing. She said, no matter how many people are listening, you continue talking. Yeah. Like we got over 150, over 150 viewers, subscribers to our channel, and I'm gonna keep talking. I'm, if I gotta talk to this 150 every day, I'm gonna talk to this 150 because I believe in magical numbers. I believe that if I talk to three people gonna talk to three people, then these three people gonna talk to three people, and then now we got 12 people. You see what I'm saying? If you keep doing the numbers, it just keep adding up. So no matter what they're saying, what they try and quiet you on, keep talking. And like me and Ashley came to his agreement, right? That we're gonna talk about lifting people up instead of tearing people down. Right? We're gonna give positive reinforcement to this world. And I don't give a damn if it's my last breath I take, right? We talked about legacy last week, a couple weeks ago. And I said, my legacy is gonna be this. I want my name not to be just heard from my kids' mouth, but the people I touch, the people I love, people that in this world, I want my name to be continue going on. That Dawson name, right? They keep continue going on so long after I'm out of here. You feel me? Because I believe that that's what I was brought on this earth to do. I found my purpose. My purpose is to speak as much good as I can, because the world is so against that right now, right?
Well, and how blessed are you to live in a place, right, where theoretically you have the freedom to do that?
Absolutely.
Right? We talk about the freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
But I feel like it's a little bit of an illusion. I feel like people in positions of power, they feel like their power is threatened when people speak the truth, because they use their narratives and their agenda to protect their power.
Absolutely.
For example, when we had Jerome did his show on here a few months ago, I don't think it's a coincidence that he came on here and started to speak a little bit, just started to touch the iceberg and speak about his experience being incarcerated, and immediately there was infractions and manufactured accusations made against him that made it to where he can't even talk on a phone for a year. He can't send a message out or an email for a whole year. And I again, we talk about being realist versus conspiracy theorists. I just don't believe in coincidences. I don't think things like that happen.
Absolutely not.
I don't think it was a coincidence, right? Because we were going to hear a little bit more from him. We were going to hear more of his story and his experience. And, he's very vocal as an inmate about advocating just for human rights, right? As an inmate,
Absolutely.
which we say in our, country that we protect those things. But again, you go against the grain, you get loud, you speak the truth, and people will do everything they can to silence you. Even just this last week, we were kind of talking about this. Jimmy Kimmel, the late night host, made a couple comments regarding the Charlie Kirk situation. And he's a well-respected person. He has a lot of support of other celebrities and people in positions of power. But, other people in positions of power didn't like the comments he made, and they took offense to that. And they probably saw him as a threat because he does have support. And they silenced him. They took him off the air.
No, so the more followers you have, the more threatening you become.
Exactly.
So they right now they probably worry about this 150 subscribers. So we're asking for let's get to 10 million subscribers. Maybe we they'll try to silence us, but at the same time, you're right. We were 100% right about that, Ashley. Is that it is an illusion. Freedom of speech is a very is propaganda of saying that, you know, I have the right to speak my mind, but do I?
Right.
You know, I got to be careful what comes out my mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, you know, and it's so crazy. This biblically says, it says it's not what comes, it's not what, you know, comes, person hears, it what comes out of man's mouth that devours the people, right? So if we hear about it,